Hey guys, here is the Spider Gwen process video I promised everyone. As you can see there just a minute ago, I showed the layout. I didn't want to record the whole layout stage just because it takes me a long time to flesh things out, and I erase a lot and I sit there and think and look up, reference as I go and kind of figure out, what the costumes look like and what angles I want to use and stuff like that. So I really didn't want to record that because I just didn't think it was something that would be visually interesting to look at. So I just kind of started with her on the actual board. I sketched her back out on the board after I got the layout figured out, and as you can tell, I sped up the video because it would have been hours sitting here watching me do this, but instead I was able to speed it up and get it into 10-minute video. So the concept for this piece is essentially her breaking the panel border, but the panel is actually just the shape of the Spider-Man eye, the Spider Gwen eye, the Spider Woman eye. That's kind of what I use for the panel border. And as you can see in the colors, we did the pink kind of texture that Spider Gwen has on her mask. So I wanted to do both of those elements because I didn't draw her in the mask, because I really wanted to show her face, but I also wanted to kind of throw that element in there. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way to do it, having her kind of breaking the panel border, but the panel border is the iconic Spider-Man shaped eye, which she also has on her mask. So but here is me just kind of fleshing it out a bit more. I'm putting in some of the details on the costume just kind of loosely with the pencil and getting facial expression down that I kind of want to use, and nothing here is really super solid. I'm kind of lightly drawing it in, I guess, but it's essentially what I'm going to go with if I'm happy with it, after I'm done with it. But yeah, just kind of throwing in, putting all the lines and the shapes and stuff on the costume, deciding where I want to put shadows and highlights on the black areas of her costume here, and really just kind of figuring things out as I go. I'm not going to completely pencil this whole thing as tight as I would if I were handing it off to an inker, because I'm going to be inking it. So I'm really just getting all the shapes in to where I know I'll need to go in with with blacks, and just kind of getting things as tight as I feel comfortable inking here. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Here I've started coming in with a brush pen. I had kind of paused back there and looked over the piece just to make sure that I felt comfortable moving forward on with the inks. Obviously you didn't see that in the video, but I looked it over. I typically will step back, stand up from my desk, get a little bit of a more wide angle view, I guess you could say. Just really just step back and get the bigger picture, make sure I'm pretty happy with moving forward. So that's what I did, and I typically have a little bit of a break to I don't know, warm up the coffee or change my album on Pandora or whatever. So anyways, yeah, going in here with the brush pen that I use a lot. Got it from Jet Pens. Comes in multiple different sizes. I'm just going in with a kind of a thicker line and spotting the blacks, doing stuff that requires a little bit of a thicker line, because that's kind of what this tool is for. And then I will use the different sizes and stuff to go in and and fill blacks and do bigger, thicker areas. So that's what I'm doing here, obviously. I have a few different brush pens that I use to spot blacks. I don't really use traditional inking tools like nibs and brushes. I've tried it. I have them all, but I'm just not good at it. So I tend to always go back to, you know, like tech pens and brush pens and stuff. I mean, I even use Sharpies sometimes to fill black areas in, but so yeah, I'm just using a little bit of a smaller 0.1 sized pen here to do, and that's what I use that a lot. I mean, as far as doing most of my main line work, I use this size, and it's just the Faber-Castell Pitt pens, extra small size, which I think is actually a 0.1, and that's my main pen. That's what I use for the most part. You can get them at any store. I mean, I get mine at Hobby Lobby. You can get them at Michael's, and you don't have to buy a set to get it either, so you can just buy them individually, and that's why I like them, because you know, you can run through them and know that you can get a replacement. You don't have to be too careful with them. Filling in some of the details in the hair here. Obviously I did the webbing on her costume with this, and the webbing that she's swinging from and stuff. I have like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 main tools that I use. I mean, I use this for most of my line work, a couple different size brush pens, and you know, like a whiteout pen, or like I said, even a Sharpie here and there to do black areas. But I try not to overcomplicate things too much, even though I seem to have a lot of pens sitting on my desk right now. I don't know why, but maybe I just need to clean up. So yeah, filling in the details in the eyes. Oh yeah, and I do have like a 005 pen that I'll do like eyes and like sometimes hands and just facial features with. But I tend to you know, not go too crazy with switching things out too much. So here I'm going to start coming in and actually, you know, fill in bigger black areas with this thicker brush pen that I've got that has refills, which is pretty nice. So you can go in and get some of the bigger areas, and you got to be a little bit more careful with it because it is a bigger brush tip. So you just got to have a little bit more control with this one. But as you can see, the piece is coming along. I actually played around with a few different designs for this piece. I knew I wanted to incorporate some sort of element from her mask. It just seems like kind of the thing to do. I mean, because both looks are so interesting. Like, you know, I like her look without the mask, but with the hood on. But she also looks really cool with the full mask. But I just thought for this piece I would go ahead and take the mask off, and then do, like I said, the panel border element. I've really been wanting to do a Spider Gwen piece or print or commission for a while now, so this actually worked out really well. To do this for the Kickstarter backers. So now I'm going in. I had paused and let it all dry. I'm going in and erasing all the pencils right here. Just making sure I get everything and brush it off. And then I come in with whiteout, and I'll do some quick little creases in the costume and little extra little highlights, and if I messed up anything I'll go back in. But here what I'm doing is, and as you can kind of tell in the color version, I was kind of going with an out of focus silhouetted cityscape, just because I really didn't want to have too much of the focus on the buildings. I really wanted to just kind of show you that, you know, she's obviously in the city, but I wanted to kind of do a bit of an out of focus look. So that's why, you know, if you watch a movie or something and you notice a cityscape out of focus, you'll notice that the windows and the lights and stuff in the windows, they're not real crisp. They're almost like blobs of light. So that's what I went for here. And then I'm adding some kind of, you know, city mist, city smoke, kind of rising up. And I just used whiteout, and I just used my finger pretty much. And here's the last thing I'm doing is I'm using a black color pencil here, prism color pencil, to kind of smooth out some of these areas. I really didn't want to use a bunch of line work rendering on this, so I did that. And then here's the final piece. I scanned before I sent it to the colorist.
Crazy.